Hey everybody, welcome, and thank you for listening to this episode of Marriage Therapy Radio. My name is Zach Brittle. I'm here today with Annie Schleier. So when Laura left the show, I was trying to think about how to do the next thing. And so I've kind of narrowed in on a couple things. One is I want to be interviewing couples. So we've just done a series of 3 couples that came out over the last 3 episodes. The other thing I started to do was figure out what it would be like to try Marriage Therapy Radio with another co-host. And the first person I thought of was Annie. Annie is one of the 5 most important women in my whole life. And you have to realize that I have a mom and a wife and 2 daughters. We've been friends for a very long time. I met Annie before I met Rebecca. And we've traveled, we've lived a lot of life together. She has spoken deep wisdom into my life and let me speak wisdom into her life, which is a privilege. And yeah, I really just wanted to see what it would be like if we got on the radio and pressed record. So you're going to get to know Annie. You're going to know a little bit about what she thinks about marriage, what we have both learned over the decades of being married people, what it's like to watch someone kind of grow up and make choices and make people and make experiences that result in just kind of figuring out how to do life. So I just want to say thank you again for listening. Thanks, Annie, for coming on. After today, we have 2 more episodes together that I think you'll enjoy. But for now, this is a very cool conversation. Stick around. I'm actually I'm a little bit ambivalent because to me, you're like the best kept secret on the planet. Like, I'm like, oh, I don't want to share you broadly because I want to keep you all to myself. So,
but
I'm a little
I have a choice in that.
Okay.
You will
What do you
keep
mean?
me all to yourself. When somebody's the best kept secret, they have a choice in that.
Okay. Deal.
Yeah.
You ever been on a podcast before?
Never.
Yeah. How you feeling?
Yeah. Great. If this is what it is, knowing that you can edit it.
Yeah, I can edit it. I was thinking about a few things that I wanted to go over because I think you're the only person in my life, still in my life, who you were at my wedding and I was at your wedding.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You would have been in my wedding had I not already had 5 guys already on my wedding party. I couldn't.
You did have
6.
5.
I was too.
I think I was too like mainstream to have a girl in my wedding, to have my own girl in my wedding. Like, I don't think I was far enough outside of the kind of the scene. But okay. So part of this is like, I'm telling you things you already know, but I'm also telling the whole world.
Right.
So we met in 1992 at summer camp. And this is one of my favorite stories. I have two stories about that time that I think are apocryphal for me. One's from the first day and one's from the last day. Do you know them both?
I remember the last day. I don't remember the first day.
The last day was, we had just spent a whole month there and you were functionally my boss for a month. And at the end I was like, okay, now that you've been my boss for a month, could we just be friends? And you said, yeah, let's be friends. So then we became friends. And, but the first day, I told Madison this story. I don't remember if you remember, but I was 22. No, I was 19. So that makes you what, about 22 at that time? I don't remember how much older you are than me, but so I get there and I am just kind of getting into the scene and I meet you and we're out in front of the office and I'm like, let's play basketball. And, or you were like, let's play basketball. And I, at 19, was absolutely convinced that I was going to destroy you in basketball because I was a boy. 100%. I'd never played basketball. I didn't play. I played soccer my whole life. And I was like, oh, let's play basketball. I'll play with you. And you cleaned my clock. Absolutely just like cleaned my clock. And
I do remember that.
I've never forgotten that because it's the first time I think I ever realized like kind of that I had no idea how the world worked and that I thought it should work like this, where boys were better than girls and it didn't even matter what the sport was or what the thing was. And here you just kind of came up in your, whatever you got going on, your ponytail. And I don't think I was humiliated at all. I think I was just odd.
I remember you being a little stunned, like not like surprised, but in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that's one of my favorite, it's sort of my favorite origin story of our time, because at that point I was sort of hooked. I was like, well, okay, I'm just going to learn as much as I can from this lady. And this lady, 22, same age as Abby is now. How old are your twins? They're older? They're the same
22.
age?
No, they're 22.
They're all the same age?
Yeah.
Anyway, so then we became friends. And then I
Wait, can I
started
tell what I remember about meeting you that month?
Yeah, 100%. I'm just trying to warm us up.
I remember your shoes, and you liked my shoes. We both were like function over form, but form kind of mattered secretly, but we didn't let that on.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree with that?
I don't remember what shoes I had. They were probably Adidas.
They were like you ended up buying my shoes. I had these shoes that were like trail running shoes, and trail running shoes weren't a thing back then.
Yeah.
And they were economical, and they worked, and they were kind of quirky. They weren't ugly.
Yeah.
They were like quirky. You're like, I love those shoes. I'm going to order those shoes. But I left like so surprised that you couldn't see in you what I saw in you, or that you had said that nobody really sees what I see in you. And to me, it's so obvious.
I get that. That's been true for 35 years. Like that you have always seen in me things that I didn't necessarily see. So anyway, like I said, best kept secret, glad to share you with the world.
Thank you.
I'm glad you said yes, that we could be friends.
Yes, me too.
And then somehow I ended up on your floor or your couch a couple times, like just driving through town, just being there. And I always had some girl in tow, or some story about a girl in tow, because I was dating this person or that person, or trying to figure out how to make it work. And
but there was always just a relationship, though. It wasn't like I can remember like 4 or 5 girls.
Yeah. Until Rebecca.
Right.
And then this is the other apocryphal story that my kids know, which is you were the person that told me I was going to marry her. Mm-hmm. How did you know? You knew before I did.
I don't know. I think that for some reason I just see you, like it was who you were when you were with her. You were different, like in a good way. And watching you with her was different than watching you with other girls.
Yeah.
Because it was more listening to you talk about her was very different.
Yeah, because you hadn't even met her. I just rolled into town one day and I started telling you about her, and you were like, you're trying really hard. I think you said something like, you're trying real hard to convince me that you're not in love with her. And I was like, am I? Anyway.
And do you remember what happened after that?
No.
The frame?
I do. Oh, yeah. I was going to tell the story for sure, but you tell it.
Well, I had that little picture framing business in our 3rd bedroom apartment. And Rebecca gave me a journal entry that she wrote the first day she met you.
Yep.
And it was 2 pages.
At the same summer camp.
Yes.
So I met Annie at that summer camp. I met Rebecca at the same summer camp. Okay.
And she wanted me to frame them for you for a wedding gift or engagement gift or something. And they were on my floor, and I just started dating my now husband, Matt. Mm-hmm. And he got himself caught in a dilemma, which is actually takes us into marriage, right? Like he read those pages.
Yeah.
And he thought they were my journal pages that were written about you.
Yeah.
And what she named what she was attracted to in you, which were like your obvious giftings, and they were Matt's obvious non-giftings. Like he has gifts, but they weren't them.
Yeah.
And so he panicked, and he was in a dilemma of like, shoot, like the girl I'm dating is in love with this guy named Zach for all these attributes. And maybe it's an old journal.
That I don't have.
Right. But I definitely don't have these. And he chased his tail for about a day and a half of not knowing how to tell me, because then he had to like admit that he read something he wasn't kind of supposed to read. Like he snooped.
Yeah.
I'm glad he was tortured for a day and a half.
And then what happened?
He chuckled. I was like, oh, dude. No, that's Rebecca for Zach.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was so relieved.
Right on. And so, so here we are at marriage. And then you come to my wedding. Do you remember anything about my wedding? I barely remember things about my wedding.
I remember I drank a lot.
Okay. We had one of those fancy, expensive weddings because Rebecca pulled out all the stops. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was in Connecticut, right?
It was in Connecticut?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At a country club. Was it?
I think it was on a golf course. The reception was on a golf course. I'm not sure if it was a country club, but it was definitely.
Well, to me at the time, like country club equal golf course, because I hadn't been to either. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And then I came to your wedding, which was, when did you get married? Well, you got married in August of 97, 8997.
We got married in June of 98.
So a year later, not quite a year later.
Yep.
Because Matt came to our wedding too. I remember that.
Yeah, I do remember that. Oh yeah, we took a really good picture at your wedding. We still have that picture.
Okay, so then I come to your wedding. The thing I remember at your wedding is one thing I'd never seen before, which was this thing that people give you money to dance with you.
Mm.
I was like, why didn't I think of that? Didn't people give you money to dance with you?
You just brought up the only thing I was ashamed of at my wedding for these 2.4 million people that are listening to you.
Yeah. Well, let's just see if it can number get bigger as we go. Wait, why is that?
Oh, well, because it's about like, we didn't know this at the time, but both Matt and our relationships were were fear-based. Mm-hmm. And so his solution,
too, which is why I was like, this is an amazing idea.
I know. So his solution was make a lot of money and spend it all. And my solution was don't make very much and don't spend anything. Because if I don't, so he's going to live big and pay for it. And I'm going to live small and pay for it because I'm not going to make it or spend it. And so I was so nervous that was a clash of two worlds. Like those two people got married.
Yeah.
And I was panicked that we weren't going to have enough money. And so somebody gave me that idea. And I was like, yes, because we're not going to have enough money. I was mad at him when we got engaged for not saving for his unborn children's college fund.
Not only his unborn children, but you weren't even, he didn't even have future, speculative children.
Yeah. So my fear definitely convinced me of really bad things about him.
Well, I thought it was amazing, and I wish I had stolen it a year earlier because I also similarly had money problems and money challenges and issues. The other thing I remember about your wedding is we left early. I was so bummed because we had to drive back to Connecticut from Northern Virginia, and I made a decision to leave early, before it was over. And I probably regretted it halfway through Pennsylvania. And I was like, I cannot believe I didn't stay until the end. That was the thing that's the main thing I remember about your wedding. And then I moved to, then you moved to Seattle.
I did. 6 weeks later, I already knew I was going to Seattle when I got married.
Yeah.
So 6 weeks after we got married, we drove across country and fought the entire time.
What was that about?
I was not ready to be married. I mean, I could talk to you. This could turn into 12 podcasts.
That's okay. It's sort of the ballad of Zach and Annie. I'm into it. I totally forgot about this chapter. But,
oh my gosh. I married outside my threshold of tolerance.
Okay. What does that mean?
Well, can I get clinical?
Sure.
And Matt knows this. And this is part of our story. And this is where I'm going to go clinical and theoretical. It's been proven in the last 2 decades that our interpersonal neurobiology is connected to our life experiences, meaning what we go through is going to affect things like synapse loops and memories and all that, right? When I met my now husband, I was confused because my experience in my 20s is I had a lot of friends that were guys. I can now look back at knowing that I was terrified. So I'm going to make them my friend really quick. I'm going to take the sexuality piece out of it. Mm-hmm. And then I had a really unhealthy relationship with mad chemistry right before I met my husband.
Chemistry?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've heard you say that before.
So if I had 5 guys in my wedding, that just shows you that I am very comfortable making guy friendships.
Sure.
I hadn't experienced chemistry with another man or woman since when I was 16. So I had a mad type of chemistry. I'm not going to name his name, but you know who he was.
Oh, gotcha. Got it.
And it was a terrible relationship. It was awful. But I stayed in it because I finally had chemistry with somebody. And what I say is I dated him. We dated for 6 months and it took 2.5 years to break up because I was so afraid I wasn't going to feel chemistry with somebody again. And through a series of circumstances, we broke up and I met Matt. We were both in the same wedding. And I had 2 categories. Either I'm going to make you my friend, so I'm going to feel chemistry is not even an option, or I'm going to have chemistry with a really dark, because our backstories kind of match. I have a shit ton of trauma. And when I met Matt, what I couldn't recover from is I loved who I was in his presence. He actually believed who I was and treated me like who he saw me as. And that was infectious. What was confusing is I didn't have chemistry with him. And that's part of our marriage story because my body didn't, I had to create chemistry with him for years. I had to create good experiences with chemistry because I only had dark experiences attached to all those pheromones and hormones. But he was a third category. Layman's terms is like the friends that I made, I would never kiss them. Right? It just, but with Matt, when I kissed him, it was really nice and I wanted to keep doing it. And it confused me because in my previous relationship, it was, oh shit, let's stop doing what we're not supposed to do before. And it was hard. So I actually married him. It was a decision to marry him. So I don't know how we got there. About that. I don't know how I married him. I went all the way back to because I was not equipped to be married.
Okay.
I've also said that marriage happened to me because it was not of my choosing. Like I didn't want to get married, but I didn't.
That's the opposite of what you just said. Did you say the opposite of yourself just twice on purpose?
Well,
it was a decision to marry him and I didn't choose to get married. Yeah.
No, meaning before I met him, I didn't want to get married. I did not want to get married. There just wasn't. I had my whole 20s, my whole adult 20s. Actually, my 20s started when I was 17. I just I protected my vulnerability and my wants. And so I just didn't want anything. And then when I'm 25, I meet a guy that taps into my backstory in a way. So basically, when I have chemistry, that means there's something about my story that connects with your story because our interpersonal neurobiology has informed that, right? So it makes sense that I married outside my threshold of tolerance. Matt has a normally dysfunctional, functional family. I have a family that I don't need to write the book because the books have been written and they're memoirs and they're awful. So we fought. When we got there, you said, what did you fight about? I'm like, I was not. It's so clear I was not equipped.
Yeah.
I didn't have the tools to be married and all of a sudden
Probably
I was
nothing.
married.
Probably fought about nothing.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I was functioning from a place of fight or flight with him until I learned that I could escape it by drinking a bottle of wine.
Okay. Well, that's a fast forward a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, which we can do, we can fast forward, but in terms of the ballad, you come out to Seattle, you start school. My story is you call me up one day and say, hey, I'm in school and I think you belong here. And I'm newlywed in Connecticut. I'm living the life. I'm a high school teacher. Rebecca and I are making it work. Literally, I take that phone call from anybody else on the planet and I'm like, cool, thanks for saying so. See you later. And, but instead I say, okay, I'll check it out. So I come out and then,
it was so clear to me that you matched that program.
Yeah.
Even though you never thought about being a counselor.
Yeah. 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 No, I had no
Mhm.
concept of it at all. So I come out, we hang out, I go to classes with you. I agree with you. I belong in this program. So I apply and come out, and I'm thrilled because
Mhm.
you and I are finally going to live in the same city. We're finally going to be like neighbors and hang out all the time. And we're going to get to, and what we would we hang
Yeah,
out like twice
you
maybe?
guys moved in our same apartment complex.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
And then like
I'd been married a year and I'd been there a year. And then you guys come the next year.
yep.
And I don't think we hung out more than twice.
No, it was not. It was
Mm-mm.
hardly at all, which was weird to me. I don't think I was offended by that or even hurt. I just think it was strange. It was almost like we had cultivated this need to be apart
Mhm.
so that when we were together, it
Mhm.
was like, uh, what's the right word? Special, sacred,
Mhm.
something
Mhm.
like different. So being neighbors was super duper weird.
It
It was
was
like,
weird.
how are we supposed to pull this off? And then how quickly did you leave? Did you graduate and leave?
I graduated and stayed. I think we graduated early May. I just stayed like 2 months, but I was part of the transition of
Yeah.
staff members that
Yeah.
involved some kind of complicated dynamics.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
Matt was being called back to work.
Yeah. But your time in Seattle was like a total of 2 years?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So you came, got your degree, went straight home or went straight back east. And then we never left.
Right.
You make a cameo in the boat night episode because we were coming home periodically to visit from time to time,
Oh, right.
and always on the East Coast. We'd swing by your place and hang out. You start having kids, we start having kids. That's when Greg falls, and because you knew him before, or he
Mhm.
was in your class, or did you know him from back east?
I knew him. We had like 1 degree of separation.
Yeah,
So I knew of him a lot more than I knew him, but I knew him
yeah,
as much to say hi to him when I saw him.
yeah, out here, and you
And
guys were
then
in the
we
same
went, yeah,
class.
same class.
Yeah, and then he falls, and we hang out. So we did this thing where you and I are like boomeranging for a while, although it's
Mhm.
typically me back east and not you out here. There wasn't a lot to draw you back out here, but I'm coming home a couple times a year and making that work. And
Well,
um,
and that's also a big assumption. There was a lot to draw me there. I was drowning. If I wasn't equipped to be married, I definitely didn't have tools to have first time twins.
yeah, yeah. So say more about that.
I just did what I did. Like, okay, this is really hard, and I'm just going to power through it. So my head's going to be down. Um, I saw a TikTok a year ago that said, "I'm not ignoring you. I'm just raising my kids." And I'm like, oh my gosh, that was me on crack. I didn't know what I was doing. I couldn't ask for help. And so I just had my head down and worked.
Yeah,
So I don't think there could have been anything to draw me back anywhere because I'd have to bring my head up.
yeah, 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 yeah. So at what point do you become aware of that the role that a bottle of wine plays for you?
Drinking was ruined for me 7 years before I really became aware because I was I was a counselor in North Carolina and I was listening to a client of mine talk about attending AA because she drank wine every night. And so for the next 3 sessions, she paid me money to assess my drinking habits because it got
Mm,
my attention. I'm like, oh, I drink every night. So
mm,
I have to go to AA. And then on the third session, she told me it was 3 bottles. So I thought, okay, mine's just a bottle.
yeah.
And then 7 years later, it was, I have 3 daughters. One of them, thank God, isn't compliant. Because I think if she were, I would have thought I was a really good mom.
Uh,
Um, and I kept trying to get in front of her to be patient because I thought, oh, well, I want to be a good mom and good moms are patient. So I'm going to be patient.
mm,
And for about a year, I'm like, patient, 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 snap, patient, patient,
oh,
patient, patient, snap. So
yeah.
now I'm like, okay, what's the difference between being patient and shoving anger? And I thought about that for a while because I'm like, I don't feel like I'm shoving anger because my threshold of tolerance of patience was very strong, a lot. And one day I crossed my own line with her. And we were trying to get out the door, and I threw a pair of pants at her with the energy of like I was hitting her, even though I wasn't. And so I do not pass go, do not collect $200, go to AA. I had been circling AA for a year, but part of my story, part of my survival trauma stuff is don't ask for help and make it happen yourself. So going to AA was so hard because I had to ask for help. And so I would drive by because I knew I tried to not drink wine. There's a marriage piece in there too, where I would try every now and again to not drink wine. And I feel the chasm between Matt and me. And I'm like, I don't want to get divorced. Okay, then drink wine because you don't want to get divorced. So between those two events, I went very begrudgingly, but definitely knew I court-appointed myself to go there because my daughter wouldn't let me be the mom that I wanted to be. And one of the great things that I learned is that I don't think for me, and this is just for me, what helps me is that actually I can't be patient because patience is a fruit of the spirit. So if I took my energy off of trying to be patient, then actually patience wasn't required. But really what was happening is I would get frustrated. And I thought, if I'm frustrated, if I'm mad, if I'm angry, that means I'm a bad mom, and I don't want to be a bad mom. So work really hard to find a way, basically to not parent. Like I literally, when they're 14 years old, I remember learning, and this is all too long ago. Oh, wait, when they're mad at me, might mean I'm doing something right. Not that I'm a bad mom. So that's how it transitioned.
Have you changed your definition of what it means to be a good mom? Like, how would you describe that now?
It's changing, and I'm recognizing because there's a 5.5-year gap between my twins and Madison. And because I stopped drinking when she was so young and the twins were like, she's definitely growing up with a different mom. I would get panicked anytime they had a problem. And
anytime they had a problem.
I would literally take one of my twins. She would be upset about a girl problem on text, drama. And I'd look at it and I'd join her in the panic. And oh, you shouldn't have said that. Here, give me your phone and I'll text it for you. And I literally had to teach myself, no, attune and comfort. She's wanting comfort. She's coming at you like her hair's on fire. So, but it's not necessarily always on fire, but you keep bringing the fire extinguisher. So and I learned that, and I had to go, okay, Annie, hug first. It literally had to okay, just wait an hour to come with a text suggestion. But it felt so, I blended with the urgency and believed her view. And that wasn't helpful to her. I mean, they want me to be, she's coming to me for comfort, and I was giving her a solution because I believed she was in danger, but she wasn't. And so with Madison, it's so much easier to let her have her feelings and work those through because she gets to have them.
Spoiler alert, Madison is one of my favorite people on the planet. So
Madison calls you Uncle Zach.
Yeah, that's fun.
You know what's fun about it? She calls that on her own. Because I have no siblings like they have an Uncle Shane or they have an Aunt Steph and we refer to them. We've never referred to you as Uncle Zach. But I even told her about the podcast. She goes, oh, with Uncle Zach?
You know this, but I'm telling the world. Madison and I, we regularly text each other a category of song. So I think she owes me a song right now. And the category that she's working on is a storytelling song. So then she has to like go find a storytelling song and she sends it to me. And then we have a playlist that we, that has all of our songs on it that we just kind of listen to.
That's such a Zach thing.
It's called Mata Songs.
Yes.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, she told me that, by the way, when I told her about this. Oh, it's my turn. I own the song.
Yeah. It's her turn. So I have this other question now, which is, you've been married, let's see, a little less than me. So that's what, 27 years or so? 27.
Coming on it. Yep.
Coming on. Are you ready to be married now?
I'm just about ready to be married. And my husband would agree. Like it's so cool to hear him affirm. That's why I had him listen to the boat night. Yeah. Because he could definitely people in recovery will know this. It's very dangerous when one person goes into recovery and the other doesn't. Yeah. I started recovery when our marriage was 15 years old. And so essentially I changed up the marriage contract. Because he married me as an active drinker. And so part of his role was, I get to be the answer to her chaos. And then he lost his job when I got sober because I became less chaotic. It was a hard transition. Yeah.
I want to ask you this, but it's about my own experience of sobriety, and maybe you've had it, maybe you haven't. But I found that like when I put down the bottle, it created a kind of gravity in our house that people then had to kind of organize around, a kind of a gravity of health, right? Then like all of the chaos that had been spinning around me and my addiction, once that kind of became more predictable and solid and manageable, the rest of the household oriented around it. Like Rebecca started to get healthy, Abby started to get healthy, Mary started to get healthy. They all went through their own like exacerbated chaos beforehand. But I think lately I'm keen on this idea that like our job is to be healthy.
Right.
And then to create gravity that pulls people into that so that it's not harder for them to be healthy. And I wonder if that's been your experience with Matt and the twins and Madison. Like, can you see that also?
Yeah. I would say it was a harder, like I married a man who liked the chaos. And he would admit it because that allowed him to hide. So if he's always tending to my chaos, even though he was so proud of me and so like he bent over backwards and still would for me to attend meetings and do what I need to do. It was disruptive first. And I think I first saw it with the daughter who I threw the pants at. Because I recognized before I stopped drinking, she has a kind soul, but part of my hypervigilance is I can see, like, I recognize in real time what's happening. And I would see her, I'm like, oh, she's tolerating me. I'm talking to her and she's tolerating me. And I don't know why she's tolerating me. Because she's so kind, she wouldn't yell at me or tell me to get lost or whatever. So she would just hold her breath and wait till I was done and then go up and do whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I think I have an invisible hammer that I'm hitting her with and I can't see it.
Yeah.
Because I was seeing the effect. And I was so grateful that I was married to a great man who's a good father, because kind of the Young Life ministry, earn the right to be heard. I recognized I lost the right to be heard with her. And I would say it took a good year, and it was a Mother's Day, and Matt knew it. So I just backed up. I concentrated on my recovery, and I let her. It was a while, I think, until she started feeling safe. And it was a Mother's Day, and she came up from behind me and she gave me a hug. I was sitting down, and she hadn't touched me in a couple of years. And then it got traction to the point where I'd come home and she'd go, hey, let's snuggle. I'm like, I can't do that yet. But I think I can do that if that's what you want to do. But my other twin, it happened but hers was because she was compliant. we knew our house was getting more healthy because she started to get in trouble.
Mm-hmm. That's so funny.
Like,
I mean, just knowing them both, and yeah, that's pretty funny.
That bowling ball metaphor of like where the parenting's bringing it, where the gutter thing, so they don't.
Yeah.
She would keep the ball straight down the gutter.
Yeah.
Because her twin was slamming into him, and she didn't want that interaction. So we were just happy. We're happy that she was getting in trouble.
Yeah. We get to visit a few times, and I know exactly what I'm talking about next time. But what I want to finish with today is, if you think about whatever you thought marriage was in 1998 and whatever you think it is in 2025, like have you formed a theory, a philosophy, a concept that I mean, either that guides your work with people or that guides the way you wake up and move through the day, or like, how do you think about it now vis-a-vis when you were, younger and dumber?
I remember before we got married, we took this premarital counseling course where 50% of the people would break up and 50% would get married.
Right. Yeah.
And I remember we had to describe what we thought marriage was and what we were wanting it to be. So both. And Matt, they gave us like 5 lines. So it's a big paragraph. And he filled up the 5 lines and went onto a piece of paper. And I distinctly remember it was 27 years ago. I wrote 3 words. Work. It was like work, commitment, and something else, but literally just 3 words.
Yeah.
Current day, because we're always like changing. There's this concept. It's a title of a book that I'm willing to give away because I'll never write.
That you're going to write one day, or that?
No, that it's the book that you'll write, and here's the title, and it's called The Divine Setup.
Okay.
Like, what guides my work today is that we marry somebody who allows us to relate how we've always related, because it's the only way we know how to relate. Right? And we have to. Because I think by design and by nature, we're evolutionary. We always want something different and better and more.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember going, okay, if I married that first guy I couldn't break out with, it would be a repetition of a very bad story.
Mm-hmm.
But we would have a lot of chemistry. With Matt, like, it was the opportunity to see if I could live a different life. And there's no reason I should have married. Like, really, that's why I feel like marriage kind of happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think I would need a higher power if I wasn't married. My life was fine as long as I saw friends every couple months. My closest friends, you being one of them, I have 5 of them. I see them, like, when I say see, I talk to them on the phone maybe 3 times a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I tell one quick story, please?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I thought I was the only person who didn't marry their dad until we're married for 7-8 years and I'm with a colleague. I found myself wanting to quit my job and give up my family to be around. I had like a 3-day thriving affair in my head. There was but he wasn't a threat because he wasn't attractive. He was older. And so we looked at that. Matt said to me, like, what attracted you to him? I'm like, I don't know. He lights up when I walk in the room. And Matt's like, well, don't I light up? I'm like, actually, you do. Actually, my dad did. I couldn't see him for years. And I'd walk into his watch shop and he'd light up. Right? What was different about this colleague is I was his favorite. And we went out for lunch and I got up to leave. And he sat back like this. He's like, I could stay all day. I'm like, that's an option? Matt, when I walk into a room, used to greet me and come over and be really attentive and then do the 3 pats. And we go to our separate ways.
Yeah.
So the setup is I'm used to, it's not what I was missing in marriage. It's what I've been missing my whole life. Like I can touch down in goodness, but only a little bit. And then when there was a replication that gave me the option that I could have a lot more of it, I couldn't. It was so hard to shut that off.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I've heard you tell me that story before.
No, I just told it to 7.7 million
8 million people.
All right.
Okay, that's my very good friend, Annie Schleier. That's episode 1 of 3. We have 2 more coming up. We spent a lot more time going into this idea of the divine setup in the next episode. We also talk quite a bit about complex trauma, which is a topic that I'm trying to learn more about in terms of how it plays a role in relationships and how I can be of help to my clients. Annie gives a lot of wisdom in that regard. So yeah, come back next week. For now, I will remind you that the best way to support Marriage Therapy Radio is to become a member at Patreon, which you can do by visiting patreon.com/marriagetherapyradio or just going to our website, marriagetherapyradio.com. Clicking on the banner there, you get access to a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff that I am trying to roll out to give you a look at what life is like kind of behind and beyond the podcast. Thanks all of you who are already members and who are helping me keep the lights on. I appreciate you, and I'll thank you again for the time and attention you're putting into your relationship, making it better today than it was yesterday.